Number one, know your major goals for this decade. What do you want to accomplish over the next 9 years? And by this decade, I mean the 2020s, right? So by year end 2029, what do you want to have accomplished? When you look out 9 years from now, what have you done? Who have you become? How are you living? How are you working? What is your life like? For me, that's a vitally important aspect of my ability to make this year my best one yet, is to know where I'm going. How am I leveraging this year to create results in the future? If I can see the vision that I'm wanting to create, if I can see the life that I'm wanting to build into, the person that I want to become, the goals that I want to be achieving by the end of this decade, then I can really be energized and fueled up and fired up to make the most of this year. Listen, if I don't have the energy and the fuel and the excitement and the enthusiasm for what I'm doing, I'm not going to make as much progress as I could if I did have those things. If I'm fired up, I'm enthusiastic, I'm feeling great about what I'm doing and where I'm going and the path that I'm moving down and ultimately what I'm creating over the next several years, not just this year. If I can see that, if I can feel it, I can be fired up and I can execute more consistently. And when I'm struggling, when I'm challenged, when I'm feeling worn down, when I'm feeling like, am I actually making progress? I can remind myself of everything that I want to accomplish in this decade. And if I can remind myself of what I want to accomplish in this decade, then I'm going to get fired up again for what I'm doing this year. So if you want to make this year your best one yet, get very clear on the goals that you have for the next several years. Spend time going through the thought process, the thought exercise of writing out your goals, your 10-year, your 20-year, your 30-year, and paring it back to know what are the major things I want to accomplish over these next 9 years of this decade. Number 2, decide how you want to be. Decide how you want to be. What do I mean by that? Decide how you want to be. How do you want to show up every single day of this year? As an example, it might become a little bit more clear to you when I share with you how I set myself up for success last year in 2020. I listed out several different ways that I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, who I wanted to show up as every single day. So write some of these down if they resonate with you, if you're in a position to write them down with pen and paper. But here it is. How do I want to be in 2020? And by the way, I'm using most of these, if not all of them, and maybe even adding to them for this year as we move through this year. But all of 2020, I had this list in front of me. So let me read it to you so you have an idea for what you might use in terms of how you want to be every single day this year. I am joyful, excited, curious, bold, courageous, loving, passionate, intense, playful, adventurous, and fun. I'm boldly direct and assertive. I'm fully present with every person I'm with at any moment. I'm curious and detached from being right. I explore and question with a deep wonder about life and people. I show up with extraordinary energy every day, no excuses. I love my wife and my son unconditionally no matter what. I become more and more physically fit and strong every day. I improve my emotional mastery and state management every day. So I read this list every single day to myself in 2020, and I'll continue reading this list as I expand it this year. And the reason for that is it helps my mind to get very clear on the person that I want to be. Listen, if there's any major goal you want to accomplish in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or this year, you're only going to accomplish those goals if you become the kind of person that can accomplish those goals. And by the way, no matter how big the goals are that you have for your life, either this year or 20 years from now, no matter how exciting those are, no matter how unbelievably motivating it is to achieve those things, if you're not in the process being the person that you're proud of, if you're not in the process of achieving your goals, being someone that you're inspired by yourself, if you're not joyful and excited about the person you're being, if you feel bad about the person that you're being, but you're making progress on your goals, that's not a life well lived, at least in my life success philosophy. My life success philosophy says that I want to show up as the best version of me every day, no matter what progress I'm making towards my goals, because every day I can live it to its fullest if I'm being the person that I want to be. If I can be proud of who I'm showing up as. Not proud in an arrogant look at me way, but proud in the sense of, yeah, I'm showing up the way I want to show up for my wife, for my son, for my clients, for my team, for my family, for my friends, for my community. So I highly encourage you to create your own list of ways that you want to be this year. Number 3, one of my favorites, add journaling to your daily habits. Add journaling as a daily habit. Now, if you don't journal at all yet, and you're like, oh, I've never done that, I've heard a lot of people talk about it, well, hopefully this mention in this right now will get you over that edge, because I can tell you from the most successful people that I've paid attention to, journaling is one of the most important things that they've done and that they still do to create the life that they want. And I got to tell you, I've been journaling for a long time now. I journal every single day, mostly about the goals that I have, about the vision that I have for my life, about the way that I want to be, about how I want to show up, about my own life philosophies, about how I'm thinking about things, about content that I want to create. I journal every day. And yeah, I look at other people and say, wow, they're really successful in a lot of areas of life, and they journal too, and that inspires me. But I think what you'll find for yourself, if you're not a journaler yet, I think what you'll find for yourself is that it becomes addicting. And I don't think it's a terrible thing to be addicted to, because there's a lot of great things that happen in the journaling process. And the number one most important thing, outcome or result that you can create through the journaling process is an increased level of self-awareness. I love using journaling for self-reflection, for self-analysis, to look back on the day or on the week or any period of my life, to look back and say, how did I do? How was I showing up? Who was I showing up as? Did I show up fully as the energetic, high energy, enthusiastic person that I want to be? As the loving, joyful father and husband and friend that I want to be? And if not, what got in the way? What's holding me back right now from living my greatest life, from enhancing my quality of life, from making the progress that I want to make towards my goals and my vision and who I want to become? Listen, if you're not journaling yet, I highly encourage you to pick up one of these. Listen, you could certainly get a yellow pad. I've got plenty over here. You could pick up a yellow pad and jot on it. But I think something special happens when you pick up something a little bit nicer, because it's more meaningful. Meaning, you tend to prioritize it if it's not just on some scrap sheet of paper. If you're journaling in something a little bit more quality, I think you're going to take it more seriously. And so I'll have other videos and podcasts that I'm creating that you can look at for how to journal. But for now, what you can simply do is pick up a journal and just start to reflect. Think to yourself about, how have I been? Am I showing up the way I want to? What's missing in my life that I want to create? What do I want to do today or tomorrow? I mean, it could be as simple as, how did I do today? On a scale of 0 to 10, how did I do today? If you say 7, what made it a 7? Why was it not an 8 or 9? What could have made it an 8 or 9? What made it not be a 5 or 6? I mean, 7 might not sound great, but it could have also been a 5 or a 6 or lower. So what was it about the day that helped you to be a 7? What can you do tomorrow to make it an 8 or a 9 or 7.2? You know, I think journaling can be complicated very easily. But if you commit to just getting in there for 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, in the morning, in the evening, when a thought comes to your mind, if you just take a pen and you start writing in that journal, I think you'll get in the habit of doing it more consistently. And like anything, it's a muscle you have to work. You got to do it over and over and over again to get better. I didn't just one day become great at journaling. I think some people have more of a propensity to be able to do it than others, and I'm probably that person because I really enjoy it. But I think it took doing it consistently to really enjoy it and get tremendous value from it. So you're not going to transform your life in one journaling session. Although you might, I don't want to limit you, you might. What I'd encourage you to do is commit to a week or a month or maybe this year where you say, I'm going to journal every day or once a week. Whatever it is for you that you're willing to commit to execute on, so you can start developing that skill and habit of journaling, because I am absolutely convinced that if you journal on a regular basis, your life can move forward faster. You can achieve better results faster, bigger results faster. I've seen it in my own life, and I'm just a big believer in it. And I hear it from tremendously successful individuals in business and in life. And it's a habit that I highly encourage you to start picking up for yourself if you haven't done it yet. Speaking of habits, point number 4 for making this your best year yet: choose your daily habits and routines. Choose your daily habits and routines. It's something that I'm a big believer in. If you want to create a great decade, you've got to create great years. If you want to create great years, you have to create great months. If you want a great month, you got to have great weeks. If you want great weeks, you have to win every single day and be the best that you can every day. And to win every day, you have to have the winning habits that help you to win every day. And by the way, I'm going to list a few of mine that I have right now just to get your mind stirring. And hopefully you've got your pen and your pad of paper out right now and you can jot some notes down about what might work for you. But in your journaling process, maybe this is one of the things that you do. What do you want to commit to? What are you willing to commit to as your daily habits and routines so that you can make the progress that you want to make in your life? So let me list a few of them for you that I have. And by the way, they are on a 3x5 card, just so that I can keep them in front of me and check the box on them every single day. And by the way, I don't do every single one of these every day. That's my intent. That's my goal. Life happens. I'm human like you. And sometimes I don't get to all of them. But even if I get to a handful of them, I'm moving in the right direction. And by the way, some days I do get all of them checked and done and executed. And those are the days that I'm feeling on fire and alive and that I've made extraordinary progress. But if I just leave my days to randomness and don't have this list of habits and routines that I want to stick to daily, that I want to execute on daily, then I'm just guessing as to whether or not I've made it a great day. And so to have at least a handful of specific habits that you do routinely every day, I'm confident you'll start moving in the right direction. By the way, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10. Keep it simple. If you haven't had any habits yet that you're doing intentionally, I'd encourage you to just pick 3. What are 3 simple things that if you executed on every single day this year, you would absolutely feel like you're making progress in your life, that you're becoming the best version of yourself, that you're bettering yourself even little by little every single day? So let me read a few of mine. Get out of bed between 4 and 4:30 a.m. Do 10 plus minutes of coherent breathing. And if you're not familiar with coherent breathing, I highly encourage you to look it up and learn about it. It's a breathing exercise that I intend to do every day. Do I do it every day? Nope. But I intend to do it every day. Next, get into the gym every day for at least a 10 plus minute Peloton bike ride or something simple. Maybe it's 50 or 100 push-ups and air squats, something to get myself moving and physically active every day. Drink 120 ounces of water. Hydrating is so vitally important for building ourselves into the person that we want to be. If you're not hydrating enough, you're not going to perform at your highest levels. 10 plus minutes of vocal exercises. Being a coach and someone that creates video content, I'm using my voice all the time. So it's a muscle that most of us don't tend to think about, but because I'm using it so often, I want to make sure that I'm strengthening it and working on it and ensuring that it's working as effectively as possible. Create high-value content for others to be encouraged and inspired by. Read scripture and pray. Read 20 plus minutes of a personal growth and development book. Get into bed by 8:30. If I get to bed on time, I'm more likely to wake up on time, which will then help me to execute on all of my habits that I want to get done every single day. Let's move on to number 5. Commit to excellence. Commit to excellence. That sounds so simple. I understand. If you're watching a video like this, maybe you're already that person that's committed to excellence, but maybe you committed to that excellence a year ago or 5 years ago or a few weeks ago. It's vitally important to create an extraordinary year. You have to commit to excellence every single day. You have to decide what are your standards for your life in every area of your life, with your physical fitness, your health, your relationships, your professional success, your skill development, your mindset, your emotional mastery. What are the standards that you have in every area of your life? And what are you not willing to tolerate in yourself and in other people? You have to know what you're not willing to tolerate, because if you don't commit to the things that you're not willing to tolerate, hopefully I said that correctly, then you're not going to know where you draw the line. It's until we are able to actually draw that line in the sand and say, I will not move from here on these certain standards that I have, that we will absolutely make the forward progress that we want. You have to commit to excellence every day in every area of your life. Do not settle for less than excellent in anything, and you will move yourself forward faster than you ever could have before without that commitment to excellence. Now listen, I just hit the 5 that I promised you in this video, but I've got a couple bonuses that I think are massively important for making this year your best year yet. So hang on with me, keep listening, and let's hit these last 2 really briefly. Number 6, what stretch do you want to make? Now, I don't mean like hamstring stretch and chest muscle stretch. I'm talking about what's the area of your life that you truly must expand to become the best version of yourself. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. For me, it's the ability to be direct in my communication, with speaking my wants and my needs to other people and not holding back. I'm absolutely a people pleaser in my natural state, and by being a people pleaser and focusing mostly on positivity, I really don't want to trek into the challenging conversations and conversations that might stir up some issues and negative feelings. And I've really been working extremely hard on being able to do that, to be bold and direct in my communication and to step into some of those difficult conversations or conversations that feel challenging. I've really stepped up over the past several months, but in particular, as I focus on being the best version of myself and making this year my best year yet, I'm going to commit to continuing to stretch that area of my life. And by the way, if you don't like the word stretch, think of the word growth, if that's more resonant with you. But the truth is, when you stretch, you expand, and when you expand, you have more choices and options. And when you have more choices and options, you can show up more fully and more powerfully in every area of your life. So decide, what is a particular specific area of your life or skill that you must stretch this year to make this year your best year yet. Last but absolutely not least, number 7, commit to personal growth. Commit to personal growth. And that sounds so simple and so general, but here's the thing. It's very easy to be random with your personal growth. It's very easy to say, well, once in a while I'm going to watch this motivational or inspirational video on YouTube or listen to a motivational or inspirational podcast to get me fired up, and I do that randomly. When I say commit to your personal growth, I'm talking about building into your daily routines the things that help you to develop yourself. As I mentioned with some of my habits, maybe for you, it's reading books on personal growth and development, on different areas of human behavior and psychology and change and behavior, how you can move yourself to take action and to make the transformations that you want, to communicate more effectively with the people that you care about, to develop certain skills at work, in your personal life. You have to be committed to your own personal growth if you want to create an extraordinary life and to make this year your best year yet. Listen, I've got to tell you, I'm absolutely committed to my own personal growth. I think it's one of the most important areas of my life that I spend time on besides my family and my faith. I'm absolutely committed to my personal growth. And here's why. Because if I'm not developing myself, I cannot serve the greatest value possible in any other area of my life. Jim Rohn said it best. Focus more on developing yourself than on working hard in your job. That doesn't mean you're slacking in your job. What that actually means is if you work hard on yourself, then you're in a better position to serve greater value more consistently, more often for the people that you serve in your job. Whether you're a behind-the-scenes person or you're client-facing, if you want to excel professionally, you have to focus on your personal growth. So, to make this your best year yet in every area of your life, commit to personal growth. And by the way, as I mentioned, I'm on that personal growth journey too. So let's grow together. If this message has resonated with you, if it excites you, if it energizes you, I would love to stay in touch. I'd love to hear from you. Drop in the comments below or send me a direct message. Let me know that this message resonates with you on your favorite social media platform. Share this out. Text it to a friend. Send it in a private message to somebody you care about who really needs to know how they can maximize their opportunity to make this year their best year yet. I'd love to hear from you. Keep me in the loop and subscribe to this so that we can continue to stay in touch and you can continue to be encouraged and inspired by these messages that I'm bringing out every single week as we move forward. This is my passion, is helping to inspire and encourage other people, whether it's through my profession as a coach or through content like this. I want to help you become the best version of yourself. So no matter what happens in your life, no matter what challenges and struggles you go through, keep going. Have fun and be awesome.